Following in the footsteps of Ubisoft's The Crew series before it, Riders Republic crams the engine of an arcade racer under the hood of a sprawling open world. Except this time, the engine is your legs, and the hood is a bunch of extreme sports events so over the top it would make the late 90s blush. It's a somewhat familiar formula, but apart from the occasional crash or server issue, it's one that overwhelmingly succeeds at providing the ultimate downhill sports fantasy. Riders Republic drops you into a beautiful open world to take on races and trick contests, search for collectibles, and unlock better gear and more difficult activities as you go. It sticks very closely to the open world racing game structure we've seen elsewhere in series like The Crew and Forza Horizon, but here you'll be swapping between a bicycle, wingsuits, snowboard, and a pair of skis on the fly. Whether you're catching air in a snowboard trick competition or flying through said air in a wingsuit race, every one of Rider Republic's sports is an absolute blast. Riding bikes is all about precision and managing your pedaling stamina meter, which becomes more challenging depending on the terrain. Using your skis or a snowboard, on the other hand, is more about controlling your speed and momentum. Meanwhile, the wingsuit requires you to embrace your inner daredevil and glide or rocket dangerously close to hard objects to reach terminal velocity. Mastering each machine of gnarliness Rider Republic offers is challenging, diverse, and guaranteed to result in a few hilarious but nasty spills. The events you'll be using them in can be just as varied, throwing you down dozens of mountainsides with plenty of different goals. Races make speed the name of the game, and they can be some seriously tense competitions that put your reflexes and guts to the test as you shred downhill, fly over gaps, and dodge obstacles. But you'll also need to master your show-off skills in stunt contests, where the key to success is pulling off tricks and grinding on rails to rack up points rather than raw speed. The map is also downright loaded with other things to do as well, whether it's collectibles to hunt for, lovely sights to see, or organic events to discover like hidden stunt activities, some of which ask you to complete insane tasks like clearing an impossibly large gap or riding a tiny steel beam across a canyon. Interestingly, the map takes 7 real-world national parks and 45 actual landmarks and smashes them all together into one massive location, where the snowy Grand Teton Summit can sit comfortably next to the rocky Angel Arch. This bizarre mishmashing of real-world locations and impossibly diverse biomes all welded together is not only an awesome sight to behold, it makes one map feel like several, each with their own notable features, colorful landscapes, and wildly different paths to bomb down. Riders Republic has a whole host of compelling competitive multiplayer modes, including ranked free-for-all races against a small group of live players, and arena matches that pit 2 teams of 6 against each other as you fight for control of a skate park. These are a good way to pass the time and play competitively if you grow bored of racing against player ghosts, but they're also run-of-the-mill modes I've seen in other games before. Mass races, on the other hand, are a whole new beast entirely. Mass races throw you into a lengthy racing tournament with 64 players and loads of XP and accolades at stake for those who manage to score a podium finish. As you might expect, racing against 63 other players is utter chaos, but the kind of chaos that works perfectly in Riders Republic, which seems to welcome and thrive in it. The absolute horror show of dozens of people all pushing one another out of the way, flying off cliff edges, and smashing into obstacles is a sight to behold, even if you find yourself putting on a tragic showing. And if you actually manage to earn yourself a podium finish, the payoff and bragging rights are immense.
Super stuff! You're top 3!
The only drawback for these ambitious events is that, as you might imagine, technical issues sometimes muck things up. Apparently, something about cramming 64 players in the same event all at once isn't an easy task to accomplish, because about 10% of the time they would crash to the main menu. Though admittedly, it seemed to get better over time as the launch window server issues resolved themselves. Even so, crashes and goofy glitches are a pretty regular occurrence in Riders Republic, at least on the Xbox Series X where I played. Looks like we've got ourselves a traffic jam. Seeing these sorts of things in a large online game like this isn't exactly surprising close to launch, but they're still just frequent enough here that it can start to frustrate. Riders Republic is an ambitious, captivating open-world sports game that had me laughing, sweating, and cheering the longer I played. It leans quite a bit on other open-world racing games like it, and still has some kinks to work out with the stability of its online service. But it's astounding just how much Riders Republic manages to successfully pack inside itself, with enough consistently entertaining variety to keep me playing for a very long time. For some four-wheeled racing, check out our reviews of Cruisin' Blast or Hot Wheels Unleashed. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.